Hi all, in this video we will try to understand the first nakshatra in the whole nakshatra system, that is the Ashwini nakshatra. So Ashwini nakshatra ranges from 0 degree of Aries sign to 13 degree 20 minutes of Aries sign. We know that every nakshatra occupies 13 degree 20 minutes of space in the sky. So Ashwini nakshatra also occupies 13 degree 20 minutes of space in the sky in the region of Aries, in the initial part of the sign, the zodiac sign Aries. And the lord or the planetary ruler of Ashwini nakshatra is a Ketu, right? So Ashwini, if you understand Ashwini, it is representing the beginning. Basically it is the first nakshatra, so you can understand it is basically representing the beginning of everything, right? It can be beginning of a spiritual journey of a person, or beginning of even you can say it's the beginning of the creation, right? It is representing beginning of everything. So especially the Ketu's energies, right? So whatever Ketu's energies, they generally, we say they are generally start in the nakshatra of Ashwini, and they have a kind of flowering of that particular Ketu energy that happens in the nakshatra of Magha, and then the same energy, the same Ketu's energy will fructify, right, will become fruitful in the nakshatra of Mula, because Magha and Mula are also Ketu nakshatras, right. So if you understand this particular nakshatra in the sky, it is represented by two bright stars. So the two bright stars, it's very that concept is very much important. So basically the lord, the god of Ashwini nakshatra is Ashwini Kumaras, the physical healers of gods, right? The healers of gods, you can say, are the god healers. So how our ancient Vedic seers saw this particular nakshatra, Ashwini nakshatra in the Aries, they observed this is looking like a horse's head. So even horse's head is the beginning of your journey, right? Whenever you want to travel from one place to another place, you generally use horse. Especially in the olden days, people were using horses, right, for any kind of travel, for any kind of journey, right. So horse's head, they try to represent the Ashwini nakshatra as a horse's head. So these two stars were seen as making a similar pattern. So these stars are known in the modern astronomy, if you see, Alpha Arietis and Beta Arietis. And there is a concept called visual magnitude. So if the visual magnitude is lower, the star appears brighter. So there is there's an inverse relationship between a visual magnitude and the brightness of a star. In this Alpha Arietis and Beta Arietis, so Alpha Arietis is slightly brighter with a visual magnitude of 2.02, and Beta Arietis has a visual magnitude of 2.66. So whichever is having lesser visual magnitude, that appears brighter. So Alpha Arietis is having a visual magnitude of 2.02, so it appears brighter than Beta Arietis. So these relatively bright stars, they lie very close to the planetary ecliptic, right below the right below Andromeda, you can say, right, just right below Andromeda you can observe these two stars. So every nakshatra consists of some group of stars. So here Ashwini nakshatra, the important stars in the Ashwini nakshatra is the two nakshatras that are important. So those are Alpha Aritis and Beta Aritis. So the visible magnitude is 2.02 for Alpha Aritis, so that appears a bit brighter compared to Beta Aritis, which has a visible magnitude of 2.66. Now if you observe Ashwini, the name, it can be, it's a Sanskrit name. All nakshatra names are Sanskrit names. So Ashwini nakshatra, Ashwini means born of a female horse. That is the meaning, or you can also say horse woman. So in the Sanskrit language, horse woman is generally called as Ashwini. So the first meaning, if you see the born of a female horse, right, it's very clear. It's born of a female horse. So but the second meaning is horse woman. Horse woman, the moment you say horse woman, how the horse woman would look like. So horse woman would look like, so you may get a doubt whether the first portion is a horse or the woman, or the last portion is a horse or woman. Which portion is actually horse and which portion is of a woman? How horse woman looks like, right? So you may get something like, or a woman is riding a horse, or it's a mythological creature with a horse's head and a woman's body, right? So you can say actually it's a mythological creature and its head is horse basically, and it has woman's body. So body is of a woman and head is of a horse. So that is the perfect interpretation of horse woman. The initial portion is always of a horse. The concept of horse is very much important in the case of Ashwini nakshatra. So its alternative name is Ashwayuja, right? Its alternative name is Ashwayuja, which is actually means she who yokes horses. So once again there is a feminine energy is coming into the picture with the word she here, and also with the word horse we are trying to reflect the horse's energy also. So there's a feminine energy and also there's a horse energy basically here. So strong emphasis on the horse and the feminine energy is always seen when you talk about Ashwini nakshatra. Now if you see the symbol of Ashwini nakshatra, it's horse's head. So this symbol you can see is in keeping with its name, right? So a horse's head conveys the idea of a beginning. You can understand it's the beginning of your journeys or whatever. It's a beginning basically, and even the nakshatra Ashwini is the first nakshatra in the whole nakshatra system. So you can notice how riders pat their horse's neck before beginning any journey. So we can clearly see there is a beginning energy here. So from time immemorial, a horse has been seen as a symbol of it's a symbol of power, it's a symbol of courage, symbol of movement, symbol of vitality, right? So even whenever you talk about power, you say horsepower, right? So horse is a perfect representation of power and courage, also the movement and also the vitality. So horse's head signifies an eagerness to act and a swiftness of approach. So horse always wants to act. If you clearly observe a horse, it is always very active. it is very much attentive, it's very much alert. If you observe, it's always ready to act, right? It's very quick. So it is, and it is very much useful for journeys, but the journeys are not for its own sake. It's for the sake of others, right? It's for the benefit of others. So that is one important thing. There is a concept of sacrificing is also coming into the picture here, because horse generally it goes for a journey for the benefit of its owner, right? There is a sacrificing energy here. So it's very just see the qualities here. There are so many leadership qualities coming into the picture, right? In the Ashwini energy, as a power, courage, and a kind of sacrificing energy here, right? Who can sacrifice? Generally, people, the people having great power only can sacrifice, right? Powerless people, or selfish people, or some kind of energyless people, they cannot sacrifice, because they don't have that much, they don't have goods basically. So how can you expect a poor person, or a kind of a kind of less powerful person to sacrifice for someone? He cannot sacrifice. So it is a combination of it's a perfect example of a leader. If you see Ashwini energy, whatever we discussed, that the power, courage, movement and vitality, and also the sacrificing nature, all these things are coming into the picture, and they are clearly reflecting the energy of a leader. So if one has had the chance of being close to a horse, you can clearly realize that a horse's head conveys a certain amount of sensitivity and alertness also. So if you clearly look at the horse's head, you can feel that sensitivity and alertness. Ashwini lies in the beginning of the sign Aries, which is actually, it is the head of the whole Kala Purusha. Aries is, of course, it's one of the zodiac signs of the 12 zodiac signs, but it is also the first zodiac sign, right? In the whole, if you see the Kala Purusha Kundali, Aries is the first sign, and in the Aries also you can see the first nakshatra is Ashwini. So it makes sense now that Ashwini is related to the head of some kind. It's the starting of some. It's the starting of something. It's a very good starting energy is here. So head is also related to. It's not only representing beginning. Head generally consists of brain, right? The controlling part of all bodily functions. So it's a controlling part. So generally leaders have this ability to control, right? So controlling the society, or controlling a kingdom, controlling a company, controlling an institution or an organization. This is all related to some kind of leadership qualities. So Ashwini automatically relates to mental impulses and leadership, because this mental impulses is all coming into the picture just because it is representing the head. Ashwini is representing the head part, right? So it consists of the brain. So the brain impulses, or you can say the mental impulses. So horses are basically, they are nervous, highly strung animals, you can say. So you can clearly understand it is, this nakshatra is carrying a lot of leadership qualities, but the only disadvantage is it can be a bit nervous, right? If Ashwini energy is afflicted, it may lead to some kind of nervous problems also, because it is representing the head basically, all the intelligence, all the it is also the representation of power, courage, movement and vitality, because the head is just not a head, it's the head of a horse. So there is an alternative symbol for Ashwini nakshatra, it's a horse carriage consisting of two horses carrying two people. So this symbolism relates to the deities of this particular nakshatra, that's Ashwini Kumaras, right? The two people here are Ashwini Kumaras. So Ashwini always emphasizes need for some movement, and it is also related to transportation, because in the olden days horse was the main animal people were using for transportation. Transportation is the main energy present in the Ashwini nakshatra. And one more thing, so there is an energy of movement in the Ashwini nakshatra, right? This particular movement can relate to material transportation on the earth, right? Any kind of material transportation, or you can say, if you talk about the astral traveling or astral planes, if you think in terms of some astral planes, then it is also movement from one astral plane to another astral plane, or one spiritual plane to another spiritual plane. So basically it is representing a kind of movement, right? So now if you talk about the deity of this nakshatra, Ashwini Kumaras, the two celestial horsemen, they are mainly, they regarded as the main presiding deities of this particular nakshatra. The two Ashwini Kumaras, their names are actually Dashra and Nasatya. These two are the names of Ashwini Kumaras. If you talk about the meaning of this particular Dashra and Nasatya, as one means bringing help and another one is truthfulness. So the Dashra means to bringing help and Nasatya is truthfulness. So there's no ancient culture where one cannot find lot of stories, lot of stories about Ashwini nakshatra, lot of stories about these Ashwini Kumaras also. So the tales often show the two heroic brothers, basically these Ashwini Kumaras, the Dashra and Nasatya, heroic brothers traveling around the world and solving all the problems of whomever they encounter in their travels, right? They travel the whole world, Ashwini Kumaras, and whoever they encounter in the traveling, so they just try to solve their problems. So that is how Ashwini Kumaras basically, they work. They try to solve the problems of everybody. They are the problem fixers, they are the troubleshooters, you can say. So here you can understand the energy consists of beginning, movement, vitality, courage, power, leadership qualities, kind of alertness, right? And also here you can clearly see these people are the troubleshooters. Basically they can fix a problem. That is the ability of this particular nakshatra, you can say. Even in the Vedic literature also you can find in the Puranas the twin brothers who were born out of the union of son and his wife Sanjana, when they were in the form of in the form of this particular Ashwini Kumaras. You can see there are so many stories in the Puranas, right, about how they fix the problems and such kind of stuff. Basically I just want to say these Ashwini energy is also, it represents a problem fixing energy, troubleshooting energy, right? So these two brothers are basically, they are seen as the celestial physicians, or you can also see them as the god healers in the ancient Vedic texts. So the healing part is also coming into the picture, healing, rejuvenating, these kind of things also coming into the picture here. So healing is also another ability of this particular nakshatra energy, right? Problem fixing, healing, right? Troubleshooting. So this is all the energy of Ashwini nakshatra. So the Ashwini Kumaras are supposed to have knowledge of all herbs on the physical and astral planes, and they are supposed to possess you can say supernatural powers also, right? To cure any kind of disease, any kind of problem, to fix any problem, to troubleshoot anything. It's something like, it's not a kind of exaggeration, but if you have some good energy in the Ashwini nakshatra, so generally you may get this ability of fixing everything. So they are popularly, they mainly, you can say they are concerned with friction or obstacles which might come up between married couples also. So they can fix the problems of marriage couples. So this is also there, right? So Ashwini is a nakshatra which promotes marital harmony, you can say, because they are the problem fixers of marriage issues also. The Ashwini Kumaras are also invoked, they are invoked to aid childbirth, right? We generally invoke a nakshatra on the day of that nakshatra. We generally do some pujas so that we try to get the energy of that nakshatra on that particular day, right? So means the day, means how can you say that Ashwini nakshatra is operating on a particular day? If moon is transiting, so moon actually takes one day to it sits for one day in a nakshatra. So just wake up in the morning, just observe at 5:30 onwards or 6 o'clock onwards where is the moon position. If the moon position is in the Ashwini nakshatra, then you can say that day is an Ashwini nakshatra day. So that day basically the operating nakshatra is Ashwini nakshatra, alright. So this way you can say, so on the day if you try to perform some puja, you will get more Ashwini nakshatra. Some puja in the sense, you can just contact me, I will explain you how to do different pujas to get the Ashwini nakshatra energy, right. So this energy is also, it actually promotes a childbirth, good childbirth, right. So they are also very well known in the ancient stories also for curing even the sexual disorders, because it aids children birth. It is able to fix the marriage problems, right. It's very good for marital harmony. Ashwini nakshatra is very good for marital harmony, you can say. So even they this particular nakshatra aids childbirth, right. So this nakshatra reflects the divine qualities of these two godly healers. They are Ashwini Kumaras. So many divine qualities you can observe in Ashwini Kumaras. So all those divine qualities you can only find in the Ashwini nakshatra energy, right. So on the material plane, that is on earth, this energy is very much important, because that healing energy, problem fixing in the marriage, or that kind of getting some aid for children birth, the kind of power, courage, vitality, all these things, these are very good for fixing all the problems on the material plane that's on the earth. So the Ashwini Kumaras are considered so powerful that they can fix any kind of problem. Even it's not a kind of exaggeration something like they generally know the knowledge of any kind of herb, any kind of herbal stuff, so thereby they can even make the older people younger, right? There's such kind of power this energy can give, right? And even it is said that these Ashwini Kumaras can bring the dead back to life. So they know, they have the knowledge of all the herbs, so they can do anything. It is said that they can do anything. So they themselves, if you see the Ashwini nakshatra, the Ashwini Kumaras, they have a very youthful appearance and they never age generally, because they know knowledge of all the herbs, so they can make use of the herbs that are required and they can never age. So the ageless quality of this nakshatra you can understand now. So if a person is having generally Ashwini Lagna people, if all the other planets are also very much supportive, they look younger even in their old age, right? So if you are Ashwini Lagna, means if you are of Aries ascendant, in the Aries ascendant also, if your Lagna is falling in Ashwini nakshatra, then there is a probability that you may look younger even in your old age, provided the dignity of other planets are also somewhat good, right? So we need to check the whole horoscope before commenting on a particular thing, but this energy is really helpful to provide that youthfulness even in the old age. So the generosity aspect of this nakshatra is also very much important, generosity and compassion, because this nakshatra it's really great. It consists of so many leadership qualities, but if this particular nakshatra is afflicted, if it is having a very bad energy, then you can clearly see the person may definitely have some nervous problems, because it represents the head part. This particular nakshatra represents the head part, and also you can understand the speed of the person, means the vitality part, the speed part, the movement part, the swiftness part of the person also may get affected if this particular Ashwini energy is afflicted by some bad planet, if it is attacked, or if a malefic planet is sitting in this particular nakshatra, you can say there would be a probability of having some problems in these things, the movement, the aging, and also the kind of alertness, the kind of courage a person may have. In all these aspects the person may have some trouble. So generosity and compassion part we can also say, because we can also say this nakshatra is having some good qualities, the kingly qualities, the leadership qualities. So among them, this generosity and compassion is also very much important. The sacrificing part is also very much important, because a horse generally, it travels not for the sake of, not for its own sake, but it's for the sake of others. So that is the main thing. So the generosity and compassion is very much important here. They have this energy, Ashwini nakshatra energy consists of this generosity and compassion part also. So you can see there are a lot of stories, right, of Ashwini Kumaras saving gentle animals, saving good people, helping a lot of people. So even the people having a very good Ashwini nakshatra energy, even they try to save the animals, so they try to save the animals, the normal animals, from the creatures like from other animals like lions or wolves or tigers, right? So basically this particular energy consists of the generosity and compassion, right? So even these people can try to save, right, small animals from cruel animals. So Brahma, the creator among the Trinity. So the Trinity, you have the creator, maintainer, and also the destroyer. The creator is Brahma, the maintainer is Vishnu, and then the destroyer is Lord Shiva, right? So if you talk about Brahma, he is regarded as the overseer of this nakshatra, you can say, or you can also say another god. So generally everybody says Ashwini Kumaras are the deities of Ashwini nakshatra, but also you can say Brahma, the Lord Brahma is the second deity, or in the ancient days Brahma was also regarded as the deity of this particular nakshatra. So this nakshatra represents the beginning of everything, right? Beginning of all things. So it is also representing the beginning of this universe, that is the creation aspect. So that's where the concept of Brahma is also coming into the picture. So you can relate the energy of Brahma to Ashwini energy also, because Brahma is the architect of the universe, you say. He is the creator and he is responsible for all types of beginnings in the universe, right? So without any second thought, you can always relate the energy of Brahma, the energy of creation, with Ashwini nakshatra. So another deity, if you want to talk about, then he is Ganesha, the elephant headed son of Parvati and Shiva, is also strongly attached with this particular nakshatra, because Ganesha also represents all the beginnings. So in every Vedic puja, people first pray Lord Ganesha. That is the first thing they do. After praying Lord Ganesha only, they try to pray other deities. That is a fundamental thing, right? So Ganesha also represents beginning. So you can say Ganesha is also very much strongly attached with this nakshatra, and Ganesha is the remover of obstacles also. Any kind of problems can be fixed if you pray Lord Ganesha. So there is a fixing of problems, energy is coming into the picture, which is very much related to Ashwini nakshatra. So remover of obstacles is the main theme of Ashwini nakshatra. That's why Lord Ganesha is also very much attached with this nakshatra. It's the main and Ganesha is also main deity of Ketu, right? So whenever your Ketu Mahadasha running on, generally people suggest you to pray Lord Ganesha. So clearly Ganesha is also related to Ketu here. So even you can see Lord Ganesha's characteristics like purity, auspiciousness, innocence, right, and supreme devotion, all these things, right, you can also relate to Ashwini nakshatra energy, right. So all these things, so purity, auspiciousness, a kind of innocence, a kind of supreme devotion, all are very positive things. So all these things can also be manifested if you try to utilize Ashwini nakshatra energy. So that is about some of the important things of Ashwini nakshatra energy. In the part 2 of this video, we'll try to discuss more on Ashwini nakshatra. Thanks for watching this video.